The tense 1995 Busch Grand National title fight centers on two men. Johnny Benson. His consistency has kept the competition chasing his Lipton Chevy all season long. And Chad Little. His win or break style has made the headlines and briefly gave him the series lead. For 21 races, they have contested every lap. Through misfortune and near misses, they've hounded each other. 2 weeks ago, a late race cut tire left Benson 12th at Bristol and only 29 points ahead. Then just 6 days ago, the title chase turned. Little destroyed his Ford and finished 40th. That's given Benson a huge lead, and they'll go at it again tonight under the lights in Richmond. Whose luck, whose skill will prevail? TNN Motorsports presents live exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 from Richmond, Virginia. It is a beautiful, warm night for a hot night of action here at Richmond on the 3/4 mile. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Mike Joy. Johnny Benson atop the point standings for much of this season. It's getting down to the short strokes. Any reason to change your game plan now?
No, we're not going to change any game plans right now. You know, we're still racing race to race. We're doing the best we can. You know, Chad's been a great competitor all year. He's been tough. He's been right there on us. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for his misfortunes, he'd still be right there.
Well, Benson's been very consistent. Chad Little, on the other hand, now second in the points. Started the season with a win. Last time out, ended up at the bottom of the pile. You have to go for broke to win this championship now, do you?
Well, we've got 5 races left, and we can't really do much more than we have been. I guess we just need to have some luck on our side. Last week at Darlington hurt quite a bit, but good teams can bounce back, and we'll just do the best we can and hope for the best.
Well, this battle's far from over. Let's go up to the front of the starting grid. Glenn Jarrett.
Hey, well, thanks, Mike, and you're right. It is a beautiful night for racing here in Richmond. And what a great story we've got on the pole tonight. Randy LaJoie has put Dennis Shoemaker's Duralube Monte Carlo on the pole for tonight's race. Hey, man, a couple of months ago, he didn't even have a ride. Boy, Randy, things turn around quick. Can you keep this bunch of cutthroats behind you?
I tell you what, this Duralube Monte Carlo's running pretty good, and I hope so. I want to get a good rhythm going. Say hello to my family and friends. All the Duralube people, thanks for putting a good race team together. And we're going to give it a shot. We got a real good race car. Hopefully I'll be talking to you 250 laps.
Well, we hope that's true for you, Randy. And if anybody will give one a ride, it's this guy. He's tough. He will be tough all night long. But there's a guy starting right behind him. Might have something to say about it. He's standing by with Randy Pemberton.
You got that right, Glenn. He'll be starting third tonight. It's Kenny Wallace, driver of the Red Dog Beard Ford. And Kenny, you're going for 3 in a row. Won this race in the fall of last year, turned around and won the Hardee's 250 in March. Now you're looking for this one. How good is the race car? Can you repeat?
I think I can repeat. I don't want nobody to stop my record on my count, but you know, it's kind of like old Cal Ripken and Lou Gehrig. Records are made to be broken, but I want to make 3 in a row.
Okay, good luck, Kenny. Well, Kenny's not going for the points championship in 1995. We've already heard from the 2 top title contenders. For more on guys looking for prize money and points at the end of this year, let's go topside to Buddy Baker. Buddy?
Well, Randy, you know we've had a great battle all year for first and second in the points in the Busch Grand National Division. But third, fourth, and fifth is highly contested right now. Third place is Jeff Green, and fourth is Mike McLaughlin. Fourth, only 7 points back. Jason Keller is in fifth right now, only 24 points back from Jeff Green. We have a real treat for you guys tonight. In the booth with us, Larry McReynolds, the crew chief for Dale Jarrett, the Haviland, Texaco, Thunderbird. Tell us what these guys are in store for tonight.
Well, buddy, you know, this is a 3/4 mile racetrack. It's a flat track. Handling is very, very critical. Just like the Winston Cup team's fault today, getting the cars to turn in the center of the corner and get a good forward bite off the corner is real critical to how you perform here tonight. The drivers being able to relate to the crew chief where they can make split decisions on what to adjust on those cars. And with the limited number of sets of tires that each team has, the crew chief has got to make sure they put those tires on at the right time during the race. And you know, the summer's coming to a close, the season's getting old, the teams are getting tired. The teams that have the most depth is the ones that will shine tonight.
Thanks, Larry. The sun is setting, but I had to get my sunglasses out for Larry's tie. He wins the prize tonight. We'll be set to go racing when we come back live to Richmond right after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. By Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Well, a little difficulty on Chad Little's car. One of the crew members reaching in to get something switched or adjusted as the rest of the field begins to roll out for the pace laps. Here's the AutoZone race analysis brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, best parts in auto parts. 38 cars will start tonight's race over the 250-lap distance on the 3/4 mile. Mark Martin set the race record here last year. 45 miles an hour down pit road and 2 tires per position under caution flags without penalty. The starting lineup for tonight's event. On the pole, Randy LaJoie. Second career pole, David Green, who won at Nashville in New York. No mustache on David Green. Kenny Wallace going for his 3rd in a row, and Jimmy Spencer hasn't won since August '92 in the Busch Series. Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett, who won at Milwaukee. Larry Pearson with 2 wins this year. Jeff Green, 2nd at Bristol. Johnny Benson Jr., who leads the point standings, and Phil Parsons, 4th last week. Tracy Leslie and Mike Wallace. Row 7, Kevin LePage had a career best at Bristol 2 weeks ago, and Michael Rich, great qualifying run in Ken Wilson's car. Jim Bound and Buckshot Jones, the 25-year-old youngster, in his 7th start. Elton Sawyer with 2 second-place finishes. Mark Green, that's David and Jeff's brother, in his Busch Series debut. Mike McLaughlin, 4th in the points, and Doug Heveron. Row 11, Greg Sachs and Terry Labonte, who won the Super Truck race last night. Chad Little way back in row number 12, and Rodney Combs. Row 13, Dennis Setzer. His hat is blank because he's driving the 4th different car he's been in since July. Rick Wilson, Chuck Bound, and Elliott Sadler. It's Hermie's younger brother. Then it's back to Hermie Sadler. 2nd this year at Hickory is his best. Curtis Markham, who had a pole. Robbie Reiser is back from his Talladega crash. Steve Grissom, who had a sweep at Bristol. Eddie Johnson and Jeff Fuller stood on his time from yesterday. Danny Edwards Jr., 3rd start. Stevie Reeves, who sat on the pole at Bristol. Provisionals are Jason Keller and Tim Fedowa. Randy Pemberton?
Well, that problem on Chad Little, they had a little problem with his helmet. It seems that the air induction system that they have in that helmet was not properly working. They tried to get it fixed, could not so. Chad will not be getting the fresh air that he would like to get in that cockpit as we go in this 250 laps here tonight. But man, I'll tell you, the weather's great. It's got to be good for the driver this evening. So Chad will be all right.
Thanks, Randy. What a beautiful sunset here to the west. Packed house. There you see it from inside Randy LaJoie's pole sitting Duralube Chevrolet, the Dennis Shoemaker number 64, behind the pace car. The Ford Credit Ford, the Aiken Sutton number 38, with Elton Sawyer. You'll be watching from his car tonight as he looks ahead. And Mark Martin in the Winn-Dixie Ford, looking at Kenny Wallace in the 2nd row as the pace car pulls off. Also Jason Keller. The Budget Gourmet Chevrolet will also have a camera on board. We're under green for the first of 250 laps. Clean 2 abreast start. Battle for the lead in turn 1.
Well, Mike, Randy LaJoie should lead coming up out of this corner. The preferred line around this racetrack is the very bottom, but as you can see, David Green is not giving him the lead at all.
David Green will have a little momentum and a little more RPM off turn number 4. First lap, give it to LaJoie, but not by much.
Well, he should move ahead right here. Getting into turn 1 is a real critical part of this racetrack. You see David Green working the outside there. Kenny Wallace moving into the frame of the 8 car there in 3rd.
Back straight away. No holds barred, and Larry, nobody willing to give.
It really isn't, and you can see there back in the field, and there's David Green getting the momentum on the outside, but these guys are wanting to get to the bottom of the racetrack. That's the groove to be in, and they don't want to get hung on the outside. If they do get hung on the outside, the cars will just freight train them almost like they will at a super speedway.
Here comes Kenny Wallace.
Well, as you said, Kenny Wallace moving up, trying to take over 2nd place. You see a little spark coming out of the exhaust there. These 9-to-1 compression motors do a lot of backfiring going in the corners. That's no problem with Kenny Wallace's car.
They bump off the rev limiter at the end of the straightaway. And it looks slick down there. That's just reflection. There's no water on this racetrack. It has not rained since a very light sprinkle late morning. Randy LaJoie, your leader. Kenny Wallace, number 8 in second. Third is David Green, and right with them is Jimmy Spencer. This is the first time that Randy LaJoie has led since Martinsville last October. Although he did lead for 2 laps at Talladega, he was driving in relief for Tommy Houston, so Houston got the credit. Back with Mark Martin, chasing Larry Pearson. Back straightaway.
You know, Mike, these guys probably will be content to run in single file here. Keeping the air pressure on these tires at the beginning of this race is really critical to keep them down low. That way they don't just continue to build as heat builds in the tires, because they've got to make these tires go about 70 or 80 laps on each set.
I can't believe how bright it is here at night. This looks like daytime racing.
They have really done an awesome job of lighting this place. It's really, this is true Saturday night racing right here.
Well, you're riding with Mark Martin there, probably one of the best guys out there as far as taking care of his tires. And right behind him is Johnny Benson. You see Dale Jarrett making a pass there for 3rd place.
Jarrett passed Jimmy Spencer and moving on up.
This is the same car that Dale won with in Milwaukee, and he told me that he didn't hardly change anything on the car to come here as he run it in Milwaukee.
And Spencer has a lot of company. There's Mark Martin looking underneath the Stanley Tools 92 Larry Pearson. And here comes the point leader, Benson. Ooh, a little close there, and Mark had to shake the car to keep it off of Larry Pearson.
I would say Johnny Benson says, guys, don't do that. I got a championship to win here. I'm riding pretty easy. Oh, another contact between Mark Martin there with Larry Pearson.
That was not casual.
Well, what happens there, I'm sure Mark didn't mean to do that, but he's right on the bottom there. If you touch that flat part, you'll just jump sideways and right into the car on the outside of you.
6th, 7th, and 8th place at stake here. Tracy Leslie in 72 moving in the Detroit Gasket Chevy. Benson looks for the bottom. And as you said, that's where everybody wants to get. What Larry Pearson right now, is he in trouble out there in the high groove?
You know, it looks like that the outer groove has got a little bit of rubber down. I don't think it's real bad up there, but I still think they want to get to the bottom.
Well, you see Benson making the move right now. Mark Martin got right on by, and there will be a few laps before Benson makes a move, but he'll get right on by.
Speaking of moving, Dale Jarrett is after the 44 of David Green for 3rd place. Run straight away. And Jarrett will make the pass work in turn 1.
Now, you see David Green didn't want to make an issue out of this thing. He dropped right back into position there. The preferred line around the bottom. He wants to make time right now, not in
trouble. Turn 1. One car way up high and saves it. Robbie Reiser. Jeff Fuller getting past. Reiser, you see the wheel mark on the left side. Somebody got into him going into 1, and he hung on to it. Close call for the youngster back from his wreck at Talladega. First race back. And he'll continue. Okay. 11 laps complete here at Richmond International Raceway. Randy LaJoie is being reeled in by Kenny Wallace on this full moon Friday night. Welcome back to Richmond International. Randy LaJoie has the lead, but as you can see, he's getting closed down on fast. Number 8 is Kenny Wallace. 32 is Dale Jarrett.
I see Dale Jarrett taking a look to the inside for 2nd place as they go into turn 3 there. Looks like he's going to make the move real easy there. Dale Jarrett is by far the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment.
You know, his car is really going through the center of the corner. He's able to run right on the bottom, goes through the corner, and you know, as I spoke in our opening, he's getting good forward bite, which means he's getting good traction. The rear wheels are biting into that racetrack, and that really helps the straightaway speed here at Richmond as well.
Jarrett won at Milwaukee and one at Michigan, had that wing taken away for an illegal engine part on the intake manifold.
Mike, I'd like to take one thing back. Look at the 60 car here of Mark Martin. He is really flying now. These two guys are great on the bottom part of the racetrack.
And they're closing in. But Dale Jarrett feels after the controversy at Michigan, he and Robert Yates are ready to bounce back and prove it was not an illegal engine that did it.
Well, he said this is the best one we've ever had. Said it's even better than the one that we had at Michigan, and he's bound and determined that they're going to show him that what little problem that we had with that intake wasn't why we won the race. So it's really good, and if I can get it through the corners, we'll be in good shape.
He's getting it. He's getting the lead from Randy LaJoie right now.
Mike, that was very impressive. He went down on the flat with the left side of the car and made the pass on Randy. Hadn't made the pass on Randy LaJoie, but he's in position to. That car is sticking like glue. But look at Mark Martin moving in 3rd place there.
You know, Mark, I believe, fell back a little bit on the start of the race, but again, he may have had those air pressures really down, but he's really coming on now.
Mark Martin underneath LaJoy moves the Winn-Dixie Ford up into second. LaJoy's Chevy is the only GM car in the front four. David Green, though, closing in another Chevrolet. Riding with Randy LaJoy in third place.
Let's see, he's got 50 pounds of oil pressure down the back straightaway there. I'm telling you, I have never seen the gauges where you can read them as well as you can in this car. Great shot.
Run the same line you've been running. You're beating all the rest of them.
Phil Parsons and Mike Wallace battling there. It's Parsons in the Luxair Chevy 99 and Mike Wallace in the Duron Paints number 90. 11th place at stake here.
Just about all these cars backfire as they start into the corner. If you've noticed, Larry, the 99 car just starting in the corner really shoots a lot of fire out of the exhaust going in the corner.
Again, that's the 9-to-1 compression. It's just burning that raw fuel right in the exhaust pipe, and that's what you see. It's really not a problem. It's just burning that raw fuel.
Mark Martin has gone to the front. He's passed Dale Jarrett for the lead.
Well, Mark is really incredible here. He knows how to run fast, but he does not abuse his tires. I imagine right now Dale does have some kind of handling problem. He'll sit there and look at the line that Mark's running around this racetrack and just take care of his tires.
So Mark Martin on the point, left side of your screen. Dale Jarrett in second. That second pair. Randy LaJoy and Kenny Wallace, and then David Green with Johnny Benson moving underneath the defending champion of the series.
Johnny Benson, he's just been quietly making his way toward the front and just picking them off one at a time, which chasing his championship, that's what he's got to do.
I asked him before we talked in pre-race, I said, having a big lead, having it close, does it really matter to you where this point ballot sits right now? He says, not really. He said, there's pressure if you're the leader, there's pressure if you're chasing. He says, you just go out and try to win races.
I think that's what they've been doing. That car's been up at the front leading races all year long, and you haven't seen them backing off one bit at all.
Kind of like Cal Ripken going for the record. They're going to run every lap of every race as far to the front as they can.
This Busch Grand National division, it's become that competitive. You can't stroke and you can't back off, whether you're running for the championship or not. You've got to just give everything you can every race, every lap of every race.
Johnny Benson's doing what brought him here. He's raced hard all day long. Oh, look here. We have a piece of a tire in the corner here.
Jason Keller, the Budget Gourmet Chevy, limping to the pits, losing a left rear tire.
Looks like possibly that the tread has come off of the sidewall is what it looked like laying there, and that could be several things. That could be possibly starting with too low of air pressure.
Keller will pick up his first win at Indianapolis in August, Brickyard weekend.
He's in big trouble there in the corner. You see the tire come off the left rear there.
Well, hopefully no further damage as he wrestled the car and then got it back to pit road.
He did a good job of keeping it under control there.
Going to lose at least one and perhaps 2 laps as they make that change.
You know, he was one of the fastest cars in practice, and when he went out to qualify, the plug wire come off the first night of qualifying here, and then went out in the heat of the day today and actually had to start in provisional in the dead last spot, so it hadn't been a good week for him.
Nope, not so far. 31 laps are complete here at Richmond International. At the front of the pack, Mark Martin.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is being brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
A jewel in the night at Richmond, Virginia from our Steel area camera. Fine folks at Steel bringing you these great helicopter-mounted shots on a full moon Friday night. On the point, Mark Martin coming off the corner, down the back straightaway. There is a look at the lead, Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett from the helicopter. And not too far back, there is Johnny Benson making the pass for third on Randy LaJoy's number 64. Benson's in a heck of a hurry.
Doing a great job, and what he's doing right now, he's in a good rhythm and a good hard driving race car driver cannot change his rhythm and start stroking those points, because that's when they get in the biggest trouble.
Larry, what's different about practicing and qualifying in the daytime, and then it gets 15 degrees cooler with no more sunshine on the track and you race in night conditions?
Biggest thing is the cars will just have more grip overall, front and rear. The speeds normally get a little bit quicker, but the cars just will have more grip. And normally if one end or the other sliding around in practice during the day, that'll kind of go away maybe as the track cools down at night.
You can see the back of Benson's car jumping sideways there coming up out of the corner. He's just a little bit loose as he applies the horsepower to it coming out of the corner.
Here in the background, Kenny Wallace and his spotter conversing. As here comes David Green. I can't remember David Green without a mustache. But he said he needed to change his luck. All right, in Kenny Wallace's pits, Randy Pemberton.
Hey, I talked with Kenny Wallace before this race, guys. We're on lap 39 right now. Kenny told me that the cars can get as many as 80 laps, as Larry McReynolds concurred, at least on tires. But he said some guys were wearing out right fronts in 50 laps in the bright sunshine here this afternoon if their car was pushing. They also wore out the right rear, maybe in as little as 50 laps if the car was loose. Kenny Wallace said if I get pressured early, I'm going to let everybody go. You'll have to watch to see what car is perfect on the chassis right now. It appears that Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin have theirs pretty well. Kenny Wallace has said the car is very, very tight at the moment. So we'll have to watch for Kenny Wallace in his pit stop and see what type of adjustments when they hit pit road.
As you spoke, Randy, he let Jimmy Spencer go by. Here are your leaders starting to work lap traffic. That light blue car is Eddie Johnson, who's had a great run of late model stock car starts here in the Virginia area. Trying to make a name for himself in Busch racing, getting overlapped by the leaders at lap 40.
You can see they're approaching a lot of lap traffic, and this is one place that lap traffic certainly can play a part in the leaders. The second place car catching the first place car if he catches that lap traffic just at the wrong place.
Now we may see just in front of the leaders there's a big knot of 7 cars racing each other hard to stay on the lead lap. Here's Kenny Wallace and David Green going at it. Like Wallace is going to hold Green off for the moment.
Well, David Green started on the outside pole and has just dropped back through the crowd there. He got a little handling problem on that race car. You can see down the straightaway it's as good as anybody, but he's having trouble in the corners. He's not able to keep up with the leaders right at the moment.
And the leaders are about to be in trouble. Look at that pack just in front of Mark Martin.
Those guys are desperately hanging on. They know if a caution would come any minute here now that they can stay on the lead lap, so they're going to fight hard to stay where they're at.
That yellow and blue 33 up on the top groove is Greg Sachs. Robbie Reiser on the bottom. 3 wide, says Mark Martin. As he goes after them in the white car, 46 Elliott Sadler. Dale Jarrett does not get through there. Dale Jarrett tried to drive it into a hole that was not there, and he goes around.
It looked like for a minute, you know, he was going to wait and see how things kind of unfolded there, but tried to go in on the bottom, going into 1 and just run out of racing room.
Caution is out for the first time tonight.
Mike, a good part. He didn't lose the lap. He lost a lot of track position, but Dale Jarrett still on lead lap. He can come in, make some adjustments. He's got some damage to the right front corner of that car where he made contact with it.
Very possibly, as he was sliding, he could have flat spotted those tires, so they'll probably have to change those tires.
See the right front there. It is not rubbing on the tire itself, so that's not major damage.
Mark Martin opened the door, and it got slammed. Here's what happened. Watch Martin in the black car and the yellow car of Jarrett. That's Elliott Sadler right there, who's trying to stay low on the racetrack, and Dale just ran out of room.
You know, and that's the thing. I'm sure these guys, spotters, was telling them where the leaders was, and I'm sure they was trying to get out of the leaders' way and just run out of racing room.
See Dale right on the bottom there. He's halfway on the flat part of the racetrack there.
And Elliott had a car outside him, Greg Sachs pinching him low. He could not have moved higher on the racetrack. Not his fault. There is the limited damage to Dale Jarrett's car. As they parade around behind the caution car, we'll be right back to Richmond. Opryland's the official destination of NASCAR. For more information, call 615-889-6611 weekdays. Getting set for the restart, Stevie Reeves comes to pit road. As Mark Martin takes the green flag, Johnny Benson now the second place car. After Jarrett's spin, Jimmy Spencer is third in the Lance Snacks Peanut number 20. And the pole sitter, Randy LaJoie, sits in fourth.
There's one thing, Mike, really good about Busch Grand National Racing is the lap cars go to the outside, unlike Winston Cup, and that enables the leaders to stay at the bottom of the racetrack where the groove is and don't have to fight the lap traffic quite as bad on restarts.
As you see, the cars on the lead lap moving underneath Robbie Reiser and the 42 of Dennis Setzer in the Band-Aid car tonight. Field starts to single file before Benson has a firm grip on the rear bumper of Mark Martin.
Boy, this is very impressive. He's running for a national title, but he's giving no quarters to anybody as he tries to take the lead down the front straightaway.
His car is really getting up off the corner, really good. That's where he really had the advantage on Mark over in 3 and 4.
So Benson, teapot out front. Martin in second. And up top, Jimmy Spencer coming hard.
Jimmy Spencer's looking for a groove that he can run wide open around here, which is impossible to do, but he went in the third corner then and went about 3-4 car lengths wider than anybody has. If he finds a groove out there that works for him, he might be in business.
Let's watch him this time as we are in Mark Martin's car. Now there's Spencer on the right side of your screen. And yeah, he's about a car width higher than Mark Martin.
He seems like he's driving it in a little deeper, but he's not really paying the price even by his car going up about a groove.
When he's that high, does he not have to turn the car as sharply?
He can certainly keep some momentum going there as long as his car will get a bite up in that second groove. Again, it looks like there's some rubber in that second groove.
Here comes Mark Martin trying to take the lead back from Johnny Benson. Puts the nose under the quarter panel as they head down the front straightaway.
So Martin saw what Benson had, now wants to see what he has. Benson gives him room.
You know, a lot of times this is typical on the restart of a race at a short track.
Oh, did you see Spencer? He just got out there and just about kicked the wall down with his rear bumper. Sorry.
Mark's car maybe is not quite as good on the restart. Maybe his car, it takes a few laps for it to come in. That may very well. Looks like that's what's going on here. Now that they've run 4 or 5 laps back on the green, his car is coming to him now.
All right, Mark's car is working. There off the corner is Benson. Now, if you're Johnny Benson, why not just drop in line?
Well, what he's doing right now is racing, and he does not have the privilege of going to the bottom, so he has to stay where he's at. He's got a very good car, and Mark Martin is not able to take that spot away from him in a moment. Right here, the outside car has an advantage coming out of the corner. The inside car's got an advantage getting in the corner.
Remember, too, folks, each end of this track is very different. Turn 3 is a sharp entry corner from that long straightaway, and then the track widens out like Michigan in this long curving front straightaway.
Here comes trouble in the 20 car, though. Jimmy Spencer, if he gets up here, he'll make it 3 wide. This is a racer in 3rd place right now.
Looks like Jimmy's trying to figure out who's going to get the advantage here, and that's who he's going to latch on to and try to follow him through.
Spencer comes to within a car length. Robbie Reiser goes to pit road. Apparently an engine going up on Reiser's car. And Spencer continues to work a very high line as Mark in the 60 and Benson in 74 battle for the lead.
Well, what Mark has to do right now is just stay cool. Eventually, he's going to get the brake on the outside there and take that spot away, I believe. But at the moment, you don't want to crowd the outside car and maybe do some sheet metal damage on your car. Mark has a very fast race car at the moment.
And Richmond, living up to its reputation as one of the most competitive tracks in the country. The short way, the inside may be the short way around, but the momentum on the outside makes you equally as good.
The bottom groove is definitely the best place to be, but sometimes you can pitch your car off and not have the momentum getting up on the straightaway, and it can hurt your car on the straightaway. Maybe it looks like the motor isn't running, but maybe the driver just pitched it off by being in the bottom groove.
Larry, I'm going to put you on the spot. If that was your race car leading right now on the bottom side, what would you tell them as far as getting out of the race, out of the corner?
Well, I believe maybe this early in the race, we might say, guys, you know, we might ought to just go ahead and fall in second there before that pack behind us catches, especially that 20 car.
He was listening. There he goes.
The 20 car is coming, so is Randy LaJoie, and 5 cars behind them. Mark Martin not about to give it up. Right there underneath, draws even with Benson. So this time Mark gets a good run off the corner. They're dead even, heading for 3. From the helicopter, There's that winding, rounded front straightaway. See, it's not really a straightaway. It's kind of like a long arc down into turn 1.
You can see by being on the outside that Benson holds a little bit of an advantage getting in the corner.
See, Jimmy Spencer there, he has to be thinking to himself, I may be abusing my tires, running in so hard. You see, he gains 2 or 3 car lengths getting into the corner. Eventually, that heats the right rear up and causes problems as far as the handling later on. As I say that, it'll probably lap the field before we make our first pit stop, but Jimmy Spencer's doing a great job just sitting there taking care of everything at the moment.
When was the last time we saw cars run side by side for this long for the lead? This is terrific. And back here at 3rd place, or 4th place rather.
You know, I believe one of the things we're seeing here is these cars are just dead equal. There's like nobody has an advantage here, and neither one of them's going to give either.
Well, right there is where Mark Martin has to back off because he's holding the car real tight. He's really got the throttle to break the rear wheel. He's not able to get that momentum up off the corner. But going in the corner, that's a mighty fine race car.
This is the 13th consecutive lap they have run side by side. This is terrific.
And a lot of trust by Benson leading the point standings. He knows that Mark Martin is the type of race car driver you don't worry about being on the bottom.
Which battle do you watch? Here's Randy LaJoie and the David Green spotter telling him that he's clear, and still the battle rages on for the lead. Now Benson establishes a lead, and here comes Spencer.
Well, I think Mark got tired of running on the bottom side of the racetrack here, and he's going to go up and just ride along for a second, cool his tires back down, and make another run at it.
That's definitely.
Oh, he's going to the outside. He says, if it's that good, I'm going to try it out for a little while.
Running down there on the bottom for that long could certainly cause your tires to heat up, but you know, we're getting up there now where I'd say if you see a caution here, these guys will probably be coming in and getting tires.
Johnny Benson has led 6 of the last 7 races. He is not going to back into the championship. He's out front right now ahead of Mark Martin. In 3rd is Jimmy Spencer. 4th is David Green. 5th is Randy LaJoie. And 6th, Kenny Wallace.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is being brought to you by Allied Signals Autolite Sport Plug. Guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
Welcome back to Richmond. 73 laps complete. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Larry McReynolds. And you can see the Mark Martin has opened up a bit of an advantage on Johnny Benson. There's how he did it. Back on the bottom side.
Well, right here, you can see Benson get out. He couldn't get back in the throttle real fast, and Mark Martin just makes the move coming down to turn 4 there.
So Martin has the lead. Benson is in 2nd. We'll take you a little bit further back. There's Greg Sachs at 33. And here's the battle with Phil Parsons, who has just gotten past the 1 of Hermie Sadler. And Terry Labonte in the MW Windows 14 has quietly moved from 22nd starting spot into the top 10. Don't count Labonte out. Here's your Napa running order as of lap 75, brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. Here's how they're running.
You know, Buddy, you and I talked before the race. We knew Terry Labonte starting that deep in the field, and it wouldn't be long before he was up there near the front and on the scoreboard.
That's right. Now here's Chad Little, number 2 point man. He's climbed up into 14th position, battling the 38 of Elton Sawyer and Danny Edwards there. Also in that pack, just ahead of these 2, Dale Jarrett, who fell to 30th position in his spin. He's come back up to 12th, just ahead of these 2 cars. There's Jarrett.
See Chad Little there. He's running very well. You can tell how soft the springs are on the race cars here. As he entered the 3rd turn just a second ago, you could see the whole front of the car drop about 4 inches as he applied the brakes. As he comes down the back straightaway, watch the front right there.
Watching the Elton Sawyer's car, you see the back end of that car of Chad Little squat as he gets back on the throttle. And there's Danny Edwards from Lumar Chevrolet number 61. He has gone 1 lap down, but his coming back. He may have made a stop for tires, looking at Edwards peeling his way past Chad Little.
If I were a betting man, I would say that's exactly what happened, because Elton Sawyer is running very well. You're inside his car now, looking at Chad Little in the 23 car just ahead there.
Well, you talked about the springs being soft. This is one place where you definitely want to try to run your springs just as soft as you can, because the softer you can get it, the better the car will bite into it, and you want just enough spring to hold the car off the racetrack.
Larry, buddy, you saw the 92 there, which looked slow, Larry Pearson. He's one of several cars that have had trouble coming up off turn 2, gotten high in the groove, and lose all their momentum. Car's running fine, but they got up there, got the car loose, lost the momentum. 2 or 3 cars went underneath. That's just what happened to Larry Pearson.
See, the way turn 1 and 2 is designed, it almost runs out of racetrack over there. If you end up too wide, it's like you just got to say, whoa, I just got to stop and start over here. And of course, you just lose all your momentum until you can get it back gathered up again.
Now, if we can stay on this shot, here's 3 and 4, the curving front straightaway. And as he widens out, you'll see what Larry means. Here's turn 1, you curve into it. Watch how sharp turn 2 is. Right there, it just keeps turning. Just like you say, you run out of room.
And if you're out of that groove, then you get up there where there's no adhesion at all.
And if you get up in the 3rd lane, a turtle with a top hat on can pass you in the bottom lane there, I promise you.
Turtle with a top hat.
You got it.
Dale Jarrett and Chad Little trying to move up in the field.
You know, we're deep enough into this run now. We run 80 laps on this set of tires. And this is where, when cars that are handling good will stay handling, the cars that maybe wasn't quite as good, they're really going to start going away now this deep into a run. Chad's car is really working good on the bottom. Really coming up off the corner good.
See him looking to the inside of Dale Jarrett as they start down in turn 1 there. Now that's a good chassis. You see, it's right on the yellow line. He puts the pressure on. Jarrett has to go back. I think when Jarrett spun, he must have hurt the tires somewhat, or it's either aerodynamic or not fitting right now.
Let's find out. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, Michael, that's the crew chief, John Irvin. John, he seems to have slowed down a little bit. Was there any damage, any flat spotting of the tires when he spun?
Well, Glenn, I don't know whether it's flat spotted any tires or not, but the car's pushing a little bit right now, and we need to get in here a little bit, put the tires on, take a little wedge out of it.
How long can you run? When do you plan to pit?
Well, somewhere around 100 laps, probably.
Okay, this man ought to know what he's talking about. He was the crew chief back in the 1960s on Ned Jarrett's car.
Jarrett presently is 14th. Curtis Markham went past, and then Chad Little. Up toward the front. There is the 44 of David Green, defending series champ, and Jimmy Spencer running right behind him at 4th, or rather 3rd and 4th place. Mark Martin leads it here at Richmond. 86 laps are in. Johnny Benson in 2nd. Jimmy Spencer, David Green, and Hermie Sadler's fought his way up to 5th place. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Richmond International. Mark Martin continues to lead, and he's opened up a margin on Johnny Benson. Martin going for his 4th, make that 5th Richmond win in the Busch Series. Both in 1993 and both in 1987, or rather one win in 1987. So it would be his 4th this evening if he goes the distance. Going down on Tracy Leslie in the 72, the Detroit Gasket car. Terry Labonte battling side by side with the impressive rookie Curtis Markham, who's from Virginia, in the Lysol Pontiac.
Oh boy, Curtis passed on the outside on Terry Labonte, and Terry Labonte is famous for taking care of his tires, so Curtis Markham is really hooked up and doing a great job tonight.
Chad Little moving past the number 8 of Kenny Wallace. 41 in your picture. That's the 3rd Green brother. That's Mark. Let's check with Randy.
Well, one more update on Kenny Wallace, who we expected to be up front here this evening. Not the case at the time. He said this thing is pushing like a truck. So evidently, maybe he would have been better off last night here at Richmond. But he said it badly needs a rubber in the right rear. And if they don't get a caution, they're going to be lapped by the time first round of green flag pit stops come about. Mark Martin's cruises straight up to him. They're going to pit at lap 145.
Tracy Leslie on pit road as we watch this battle. Kevin LePage just ahead of the 8 of Kenny Wallace. LePage a lap down, and Danny Edwards, who had fresh tires, but a lap down, that yellow Lumar car going past the 64. Randy LaJoie, who now has slipped to 10th place. There's number 3, David Green in ninth, or rather Jeff Green in ninth in the Goodrich Chevrolet. And LaJoie, the pole sitter, has slipped to 10th. The drivers with new tires, 61 Edwards, 63 Curtis Markham, number 1 Hermie Sadler, have flown right to the front.
I guarantee you all the crew chiefs have looked at this, and the next yellow that comes out, everybody will come in.
Some are not waiting. Mike McLaughlin is in, and Glenn Jarrett's in his brother's pit.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett, as they reported, they had a bad push, and that damage to the right front of the car, Mike, has upset the downforce on the car, making it push even worse. So he was in danger of getting lapped on the racetrack. They have come in to change all 4 tires and make a chassis adjustment on the car. And Dale's pit crew, he only has 3 guys that work for him full time that are on this crew. The rest of the guys are volunteers from Jeff Martin, Rick Bass, John Andretti, Bobby Labonte, and the Robert Yates team. They completed the task, 4 tires, hit some wedge out of the car and sent him away. He's lost a lap or 2 though.
Close call there on that pit stop. Also, you saw Mike McLaughlin going out with a much faster stop than Jarrett had. Mike Wallace about to be overlapped by Mark Martin. And here it is as he comes underneath Jeff Fuller.
Ooh, wow.
It wasn't Fuller, it was Wallace that came down.
I'm sure Mike Wallace didn't know he was there, but that was almost an incident there. I mean, that's the closest you can come with it to wrecking and not do it.
So now Tracy Leslie has fresh tires. Watch him steam past Mark Martin and get his lap back. Top 5 in the upper left. Of those 5, only Hermie Sadler has been on pit road for tires so far. And there's a look at Sadler just having passed Jimmy Spencer for 4th place.
You see Jimmy Spencer using a wide line. That means the car is extremely loose. You can see it break loose coming up out of the corner just then. So he's not handling very well right now. And that wide line is keeping from having to pinch it right down on the bottom of the racetrack and making it looser yet.
You know, here's where the strategy really comes into play right here. We've just went past the 100-lap mark. And some of these cars are coming in and getting these 4 fresh tires. The downside is if they catch a caution and some of these leaders is still out there, then they're 1 or 2 laps down. But what the leaders can't do, they can't let these guys run too long on these fresh tires because they'll make up so much ground while they're still out there on the 100-lap tires.
Michael Rich is on pit road as David Green works underneath Jeff Fuller. Fuller dodged the bullet on the last caution. He was about to be overlapped, hung on the lead lap, and he's just gone 1 down.
He was riding that bullet sideways off the corner just then. Jeff Fuller was locked with his hands on the steering wheel there. He was very loose.
David Green takes over 2nd from Benson, now 3rd. 2 drivers here this weekend, Stephen Hart and Jeff Fuller, both headed for Thompson, Connecticut for the Featherlight Modified Tour Sunoco 300. That's this weekend. Qualifying tomorrow and the race on Sunday. Green flag pit stops continuing. Michael Rich, Page in for tires. And Buckshot Jones. If you're Mark Martin and you stay out forever, try to keep getting all these guys a lap down, or do you come in? We'll check that strategy out when we come back. 105 laps on the board. Mark Martin is your leader.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is being brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right.
Kenny Wallace and Elton Sawyer have had a battle for the last 20 laps. This is for 14th position. Ford credit forward of Sawyer. And right behind them on fresh tires, Buckshot Jones moving up. And the 75 of Rick Wilson, his country car. And Jim Bound. There.
See, Kenny's car is just not turning good, and I heard Randy say a while ago they're going to put a spring rubber in the right rear. That's going to make that right rear spring stiffer.
We have contact there, and around goes Elton Sawyer in turn 3.
Off the front bumper of Rick Wilson. No caution. Sawyer grabs a gear and gets going. We stay under green.
And that's a big relief for the guys that has just pitted for fresh tires under green. They do not need a caution flag right now.
No apparent damage on Elton Sawyer's car.
You know, Mike, you was asking before the break how long before Mark can go in there and get tires. He can wait for a little while with the lead that he has.
See Rick Wilson in the 75 car there. He comes right underneath Elton Sawyer. They make contact right there. You see Elton Sawyer turn sideways, and around he goes. He's very lucky nobody hit him.
Well,
wow. That is a drop kick, folks.
Yeah, that one's a little hard to explain. Sawyer is on pit road. Bob Sawyer tires on the number 38 Ford. There they are. Kenny Wallace is also in for tires. Rodney Cohn, the snapper number 43, getting tires as well. Wallace, Artossi, Red Dog number 8. He's going to run a few truck races next year, in addition to Winston Cup and Busch. .113 laps down, 10 from halfway, or 12 rather from halfway. Mark Martin has set the pace since lap 69. Took the lead from Johnny Benson, who had led for 6 laps. Martin led 1 lap prior and a run of 27 laps. Now here's Larry Pearson and Jeff Green. Stanley Tools 92, fighting for 9th place. With the good wrench Chevy, and here comes Wallace. Here comes Superman on fresh tires, right?
Oh boy, if there was some way to keep those tires like they are right after a pit stop for the whole race, there wouldn't even be a race. You see Kenny just drive right by on the bottom. Nothing anybody can do about it.
You see him at the ground. He laid up just right there in that one corner, and that's the thing that those fresh tires will do, and that's the reason these leaders just, they can't let those guys run too long, make up all that ground on fresh tires.
So that briefly interrupts the battle between Pearson and Green. Rodney Combs just ahead, also on fresh tires. And Jim Bound is in. And there you see Randy LaJoie getting now left side. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, there's a lot of confusion on the left side there. A little bit of a costly stop for Randy LaJoie. He was reporting the car was very loose. It's the reason he fell so far back in the field. So they put 4 tires, filled it up with fuel, and made a major chassis adjustment to it. I'm in Mark Martin's pit. He's getting ready to come in right now.
Thanks, Glenn. Jim Bound on smooth. Number 51 completes his stop, and the Sunoco Chevy of Jeff Fuller is on pit road. Here's your leader.
There's Mark going into turn 3. We'll see if he comes into the pits on this lap. You can see him slowing down. He's coming down pit road as we speak.
Remember, they have to maintain that pit road speed, and that's what takes up so long on a green flag stop. It's not necessarily the 4-tire stop. It's the pit road speed that you have to maintain. David Green's following them in.
45 miles an hour here at Richmond. Glenn?
Well, Mark Martin stops the Winn-Dixie Thunderbird right on the nose. They will do a 4-tire change. I asked Bobby Leslie if they plan to make any adjustments to the car whatsoever. They said none whatsoever, just 4 tires of fuel to send him back out. The car's working perfectly. Now, David Green's crew was monitoring Martin. They wanted to stop at the exact same time so they could come out together. 23.1, a little bit of a slow stop, and here comes Johnny Benson all the way down at the end of the at the end of pit road. He'll make his stop right now, so the tires are looking pretty well worn out, not much left on them.
David Green completes his stop. You see right side going on Benson's car. Larry Pearson is in, Jeff Green, Jimmy Spencer, and Chad Little are all making pit stops, and most all of these will be 4-tire changes.
Pretty much the domino effect. When that leader comes in here, you got to get in with him. Pretty much everybody in the top 10 about following him in.
Here's Benson and Little, the 2-point combatants going out. Back into it. And Curtis Markham becomes the race leader.
You can see Chad Little actually got beside Benson. Benson got a little bit sideways. Chad backed out of it. That's good sportsmanship there. They're racing for the point. Still a little bit of gentleman there.
Larry Pearson leads his stop, and here goes Jeff Green. Phil Parsons brings the luck here. Whoa!
One thing about it, he won't have to turn the steering wheel much to get out of the pits, will he?
He's definitely aimed in the right direction.
Here's Glenn.
Guys, that was a close call indeed. Phil brought the car in. The car of Randy LaJoie, they had spilled a little bit of fluid out in their pit space, and Phil got in that when he came in just a little bit hot, and the left rear brake locked up, turned the car sideways, but no damage. He's down and away. Pretty good pit stop. They did make a chassis adjustment. I think Phil also was fighting a loose condition.
Thanks, Glenn. Here's a look at it. Yep, it's a little bit of something wet in the pit before, and everything worked out fine. 123 laps complete. Curtis Markham is the man up front. As we go to break, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway. Steel, makers of a full line of leaf blowers, trimmers, and #1 selling brand of chainsaws worldwide, bringing these aerial pictures. Look at this battle. David Green underneath Chad Little. Hermie Sadler is on old tires. He is the second-place car in the DeWalt Tools #1. And his tires have 80 laps on them. He stopped under caution. Look at the guys on new tires shoot right on by. There are only 3 cars on the lead lap, and they are the 3 cars that stopped for tires during a caution period back at lap 45. They are Curtis Markham, the #1 of Hermie Sadler, and the number 41 of Mark Green. Here's your leader. The Lysol Pontiac. He has an 11-second advantage over Sadler. But all these cars on fresh tires now are eating them up and getting their laps back.
That's the thing. He's leading the race right now. He's getting exposure for himself and for his sponsor. But the downside is they do have all of those laps. And they're going to be off sync with the rest of the leaders. That's the thing. If this thing goes green, it's going to be hard for them to catch up, being that far off sync. There you see Mark Martin getting himself back on the lead lap, and it didn't take him long to do it.
All right, so they are grinding down Curtis Markham, who continues to lead and is hoping for a caution. Let's bring you to Stanley Mid-Race Report, brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley's been helping people do things right. 6 different leaders. It's changed hands 10 times. Only 1 caution flag so far for 4 laps, keeping the average speed up to 107 miles an hour. The second-place car has come in for tires. Hermie Sadler has brought the DeWalt Tools Chevrolet to pit road. Curtis Markham stays out, as does Mark Green. Jeff Fuller getting his lap back. There's the 2 cars battling for Rookie of the Year. Fuller started back in 33rd, and he told me in pre-race, I'm going to tape a picture of some cars to my mirror so it doesn't look so lonely back there.
See Hermie Sadler coming down pit road right now, going back onto the racetrack. He's going back out into the action now.
Here's the thing with Hermie. He's got to make this set of tires go 115 laps, and the rest of these guys basically have another set of tires sitting in their pits.
So really, he has to hope there are no cautions.
Here comes Curtis Markham in pits as we speak. He's realizing he's losing so much time. He has to get some more tires just to keep up right now.
There's Jeff Hensley coming around a change on the right side with his family-owned team out of Martinsville, Virginia. And Markham, he and Fuller have had a great battle for Rookie of the Year. It'd be hard to pick either one at this stage of the season. Both been very competitive. Check with Glenn.
Guys, about the tire changing, they can change all the tires they want under green conditions. It's under caution where they're limited to 2 tires per position. So as long as they're changing tires under green conditions like this, there are no penalties. There are no limits on the numbers of tires.
So thanks for that correction. It means then that those 3 drivers that stopped early, Markham, Sadler, and Mark Green, they would have a set left under caution. The rest of the teams, every other car virtually in the race, has 2 sets left, so they could change on 2 different caution periods coming to front. That's still a tremendous advantage.
It certainly does. It throws some different light on the subject. I wasn't aware. I thought it was two tires per position, period, but that certainly sheds some different light on it.
Yep, I'm confusing it with the modified tour rule where 2 sets, that's all you get, period.
Well, Mark Martin's back in the lead now. And I tell you, this car, you want to talk about a race car getting through the corner smooth. Look at that steering wheel. I mean, it's barely moving as he goes through the corner. That is a good handling race car.
Back straight away, headed for turn 3. The car ahead is Buckshot Jones. That's the car that the Pearson family team is running now. Ricky and Eddie Pearson out of their shop in Spartanburg, South Carolina. 137 laps complete. Mark Martin continues to run out front now ahead of Dale Jarrett and Johnny Benson.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is being brought to you by Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs. Guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
Welcome back to Richmond. 145 laps complete. Mark Martin is on the point after green flag tire changes. Johnny Benson leading the points and running in second. Dale Jarrett is up to third. David Green is fourth, and Curtis Markham has made his tire stop under green. He's back to the fifth spot. Terry Labonte is sixth. Jimmy Spencer is seventh. There's your second place car in yellow and red. Lipton T Chevy of Johnny Benson. And look a little further back for Dale Jarrett after that spin that dropped him to 30th. There we go. He's climbed his way back up into the field, now into third.
His car looks like it's really working a lot better down on the bottom. They must have adjusted on that car and got some of that push out of it, making the car turn a little bit better.
We'll mention that 41 Mark Green, the final car who had gotten tires under the early caution, has now made a pit stop. 7.5 seconds from first to second. Here's your Napa Field standing update. Napa leads America running. Here's how they're running at 147 laps. Watching David Green, the fourth place car. Jim Chevy. Did you ever have a mustache?
No.
Buddy?
Are you kidding me?
My wife says if I had a mustache, it just looks like dirt.
David has one for as long as I can remember, and he shaved it off this week to change his look. He's underneath Jim Bound. Now back at fifth place, Terry Labonte has gotten to the inside. Here comes Curtis Markham. That's a battle for fifth position.
Ooh, Mike.
Labonte, has he got enough room to get underneath Mike McLaughlin?
Mike McLaughlin was kind of the meat in the sandwich there. He's very lucky he didn't get touched there. Any driver other than Terry Labonte would have got him in a bunch of trouble just then.
Markham comes around the outside in the Lysol Pontiac. Eddie Johnson, the next car ahead there. This is the battle for fifth place.
Here's the tire situation again, Mike. Curtis, he's got about 20 less laps on his tires now than the guys that had pitted around lap 100.
Welcome to the jungle. Here comes Jungle Jim.
You stop that. Jimmy Spencer is Mr. Excitement, not Jim of the Jungle. Give him a break.
I like him. I like to watch him because he is exciting. Jimmy Spencer's in the number 20, the Phenolube machine, and here he comes underneath Curtis Markham. This is for sixth place.
One thing about it, whatever you see is what he has. He does not hold anything back. He's as hard on that throttle as he can possibly be. See him making his way through traffic, moving right out in front of Curtis Markham as they come off turn 4. That car may not be working at all, but you'd never know it because Jimmy Spencer drives his heart out every lap.
There's one thing that you can never accuse Jimmy Spencer of, and that's not driving it in deep enough.
Well, and he grew up watching one of the best strokers in the business, Jerry Cook. And of course, he also grew up watching Richie Evans.
Yeah.
And runs a lot like him. They both won a lot of championships. Just did it a little differently.
See Jeff Green there in the 3 car. He's trying to get under bound there as they come up out of the corner, and you see the car get a little tail happy. Right behind him is the 23 of Chad Little. That's on the very bottom of the racetrack. Good choice not to go in there.
This is back at 18th and 17th and 16th place. Green up into 16th. Chad Little to 17th, and Jim Bound drops 2 notches.
You know, Chad Little's car is running too well to be in position again right now. That car is staying right on the bottom of the racetrack. As it goes long distance on used tires, he starts towards the front. So I think Chad Little will be a factor before the night's over.
His car definitely gets better the longer the to make.
And buddy, these cars are running a lap down. There are 10 cars on the lead lap. So that group, including Elton Sawyer there, are running 1 lap behind. And again, I think tires a lot of the difference. Staying out too long on tires that weren't working well enough, not being able to get back up with the cars that were.
Most of the crew chiefs keep an eye on the clocks, and when you start dropping off too much, they'll bring you in. So a lot of times you can lose.
Turn 2.
Have a good race car.
Somebody's around.
Wow.
Curtis Markham. Whoa. Oh, and in the fence goes Michael Rich. Phil Parsons got into him.
Caution flag is out.
This young driver had a great run going. He previously ran on the circuit as car 0 as soon as the caution's out. But now Michael Rich in the number 2 car. Coming back around to the caution flag. Mark Martin leads the group. Now officially we're under yellow. Rich is already around when we get a look at it here out in turn number 2. Or, excuse me, Markham, that is.
Watch this car go behind him here. Whoa!
That was Elliott Sadler. And there's Rich and Parsons, who looked as if they could have avoided each other, they both would have gotten through there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Parsons was hard on the brake. Of course, the 2 cars started slowing down quicker, so he didn't have the option of not making contact as they started into this wreck. You see they touch right here. Now he's just kind of helping him through that hole.
I wonder what started this. You know, we was watching Curtis Markham earlier, and it looked like even when he changed tires and come back out, his car just wasn't working like it was earlier.
Not quite as well. There's Mark Martin angling into his pit stall in the Winn-Dixie Ford. There's the Lipton Chevy with Johnny Benson. Here's Glenn.
Okay, Mark Martin brings the number 60 Winn-Dixie car in, followed right behind him by Dale Jarrett. They're pitting together. Again, Jarrett's car still got that push to it. They're still wanting to adjust it. Have not seen any adjustment on Mark Martin yet. So if they're doing one, they're going to do it by air pressure adjustments on the tires. So there will be 4 tire change. Neither one of these guys has pitted. Martin is down in the way. Good stop. Dale Jarrett's still up on the left side now. He's down. Neither one of those cars had pitted under caution, but so that they still have 1 set of tires that they can change under caution. All the stops they made before that were under the green.
David Green going back out of the Slim Jim Chevy. As pit stops continue, cars a lap down. Now coming on to pit lane. Curtis Markham falls off the lead lap with that spin in turn number 2. So now there are just 9 cars on the lead lap. The cars a lap down. Now coming in for their service. And one of the officials having a discussion with the Kenny Wallace crew. And Wallace has been black flagged and returned to his pit. There is the conference going on. They are going to pit him and hold him. And we'll find out why.
They'll probably put him at the back of the lead line there. I'm not sure what the infraction was. We'll find out for sure in a second.
Tough break for Kenny Wallace, who is one of those cars on the lead lap. We'll take a break here from Richmond. Mark Martin, Johnny Benson, Dale Jarrett, David Green. Then it's Jimmy Spencer, Terry Labonte, Kenny Wallace, and Phil Parsons. They just dropped the green flag for the restart. And off turn number 4. Mark Martin leads Johnny Benson and Dale Jarrett. Now it's a level playing field, as Coach Richter would say. Everybody has fresh tires.
Well, nobody likes to see a caution, but I do like to see the leaders of the race have the same thing on their race car that the top 10 race cars on the track right now have. Dale Jarrett trying to make that move for the lead right now, or second place, excuse me.
He's under Johnny Benson. 2 updates from that caution period. Larry Pearson had a very long pit stop. The jack came down, and he was in the pit for over a minute. Also, Kenny Wallace was held for passing 4 cars after the caution flag had come out. He was held and penalized 1 lap. Kenny Wallace is a lap down, and it leaves us 8 cars on the lead lap.
Well, that's trouble looking to happen right there. When you wad all these cars up like that, you see them 3 wide down the front straightaway. We're with Randy LaJoy going into turn 1 here. See him wiggling around. Even with fresh tires, these cars are a little bit loose.
LaJoy in 10th place, 1 lap down. He is battling with Brad Little for 9th. Also 1 lap down, a little further up in that pack to the inside. There's the red and yellow Bayer car, 2 cars up on the inside.
2, 3, and 4 deep. And
watch it, Mr. Fuller. Yeah. Jeff Fuller is the 47, made it 3 wide going in that corner. You see how much time he lost by going that wide in that corner.
Here's Kenny Wallace back in his car now. 1 lap down, gets underneath Elton Sawyer, moves up to 18. Ooh, big handful of steering wheel for Sawyer there. A pick up the 5th place battle. Now, Steve Grissom started 32nd in the number 29 Diamond Ridge machine. He's now moved up to 5th place in that Channel Lock Chevy. He won both Bristol races after starting 18th and 28th. So as the race gets longer, Grissom gets racier. He and Phil Parsons. Now that's for position. Parsons in the 99 is on the lead lap.
See Jimmy Spencer in the 20 there closing in on Terry Labonte as they go down into turn 3 there. Look at Jimmy, how hard he goes into that corner.
You know, he seems like he pays a little bit of a price for driving in that deep in the middle of the corner, but his car still really comes off the corner good.
See Dale Jarrett closed in on Mark Martin there for the lead. I believe Jarrett, whatever they did to that car, he was having a tremendous speed change, and it looks like it's handling great right now.
You know, I'm not so sure that possibly that early spin just didn't damage that set of tires, and that's what maybe they called it, they finally got those tires off around lap 100.
I think you're right, Larry, because he ran for a long time after that spin on that same set.
Really did, and you know, I'm sure they made some adjustments, but ever since they've got fresh tires on that car, it has really come around.
Now they're coming down on Larry Pearson in the Stanley number 92. Pearson lost a lap early and lost a lap in the 5th due to the problems with the jack on that last stop. Coming to the front, they better get going to catch this pair.
Yeah, because they're not racing each other. They're racing the racetrack right at the moment, and they're making a great time. Back in the pack here, they're fighting for position.
Mark Martin trying to tiptoe underneath Larry Pearson now. Put Pearson 3 laps down and keep Dale Jarrett behind him.
Hey, you see in the screen there still that Lipton T Chevrolet. He ain't giving up yet. He's still going after the win here, even championship or not.
Oh, Benson is coming. 76 laps to go this time by. Crowd of 45,000 on hand tonight. Saw a great super truck race in the Craftsman Series last night, and of course Winston Cup racing here tomorrow night. These cars a lap down, having quite a battle. There's 35 up there. That is Doug Hebron, Cincinnati Millicron Chevy. His light still in a cab, but Hebron giving it his all. Battle side by side with Tracy Leslie. Back up front. Dale Jarrett
taking a peek. Here he comes up on the quarter panel. Drawing ever closer to the lead as they come down the front straightaway.
Boy, Larry, that's a stout race car. When you can get all the way under somebody and clear McCarlin to the middle of the corner.
That car is really working good. It really gets in good, goes to the center, and really comes up off the corner.
So Dale Jarrett has taken the lead from Mark Martin with some 74 laps to go. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is being brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right.
Welcome back to Richmond. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Larry McReynolds. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton in the pits tonight for TNN. There is the lead battle. Dale Jarrett leads for the second time tonight. He led laps 22 through 24. He finally comes back to the front. Remember, he was involved in a spin that brought out the caution early. Kenny Wallace and Jeff Green are running 13th and 14th. The car is 8 and 3, 1 lap down. Wallace penalized the lap for passing 4 cars after the caution had come out in turn 2.
There's some metal on the back straightaway there. I don't think it'll bring out the caution, but it's definitely on the back straightaway there.
You know, you would say it's out of the groove, but the way these guys have been running 4 deep, it's in somebody's groove.
It will be if we have a restart, that's for sure. He paid on Roger Combs' car, red and green there. The Snapper yard tool was a factor early. There's Michael Rich after his spin. He's back at it in the 2 car. Ken Wilson, the engine builder, running that car. Says he's going to run Michael for the Busch Series next year, win the championship, and then go win some Cup racing.
Sounds good on paper.
Well, I'll tell you, he's a talented young driver. Had a top 10 qualifying run here. Ran really well at Richmond a year ago.
Wow.
Now Buckshot Jones coming up against Kenny Wallace. both one lap down, racing for 13th position.
You see Kenny Wallace finally got by Jeff Green. He's really turned the pressure up just a little bit. A little contact there, sideways. Wallace coming off the corner there.
The Longhorn Steakhouse car of Buckshot Jones trying to hold Kenny Wallace. Here comes Jeff Green moving into it. Let's go down to Kenny Wallace's pit. Here's Randy.
Jim, you guys are on a roll now, but they put you in a hole, or you guys put yourself in a hole. What was the story?
Well, the Red Dog Ford we were a little bit tight at the start of the race, and we got down a lap, and then we made it up through a good pit stop, and we had a good set of tires. And NASCAR thought we passed some cars coming in on pit road or something. They penalized us one lap. We're having to abuse our car pretty hard now to try to get back to the front.
Boy, that sounded good, didn't it? Huh?
Kenny's car is really working good, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hard to make a lap up on those two cars right there. Both those cars are really good.
And the lead has changed. Mark Martin back out front.
Well, Larry said earlier in the race that Mark Martin looked like he got better as the long run went, and he just sat there right behind Dale Jarrett and waited on the chassis to give up a little bit on Jarrett's car, and now he's moved into the lead.
Mark Martin has 3 wins here. They're smoking it.
Having the smoke out of the tailpipe, so that's not a good sign. Kind of missed pit road there, a little bit running quick, and it sneaks up on you when you come off turn 3 there.
That kind of smoke doesn't cure itself.
It don't go away.
No. Jarrett works around Stevie Reeves and the Clapper girl for 7.
See Johnny Benson moving in on Dale Jarrett now. I think Dale, when he has brand new tires on that race car, that damage on the nose does not bother him. But as the tires wear, I think he has a lift in the front of the car that slows it down just a little bit.
Definitely has lost some of his front downforce. And downforce in both ends of the race car, front and rear, is really important here at Richmond.
Not much banking here for the car to get a hold of.
Really got to have a good handling car. You got to have a good handling chassis. You got to have good downforce. And I tell you, you got to have a good motor here, too. It takes the full package.
And a good steering box. Did you see Johnny Benson just then? He was completely sideways in behind Dale Jarrett, because he's not riding the egg wagon around there himself. That car's a little bit loose on him.
Benson is 74, the Lipton Chevy. First in the points, third in this race, but closing in on the leader. Stevie Reeves has made a pit stop, 4 tires, and Rodney Combs is on pit road with the hood up.
You know, we talked about Johnny Benson. You know, you got to give a call to his crew chief, Steve Bird.
Yes.
He knows how to run for the championship, and I think he's really helped Johnny Benson in this quest for the championship.
No question. 191 laps, complete, 59 to go. We'll be right back with you live here on TNN. Welcome back to Richmond International. We're still under caution for debris on the back straightaway has brought out this caution flag. It's the 3rd of the night. This AutoZone Tech Fact is brought to you by more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Here's Larry McReynolds.
When race teams go short track racing, one of the big things that they have to focus on besides going fast is stopping fast and stopping for a long period of time. Now, one of the big things that causes brake failure is just too much brake heat. What teams have done to help this is they drill holes in the front end of their car and take hoses and blow force-fed air in on the brakes to help keep them cool. Now, at some short tracks, the speed is so slow and caution laps are so slow that they take a bilge pump, just like the one that you use in your boat to blow the fumes out of the engine compartment before you crank the engine. This keeps force-fed air blowing in on the brakes consistently and all the time. This just helps confirm one of the cliches that on a short track to go fast, you have to stop fast.
Thanks, Larry. Let's go to pit road and recap pit stops first. Randy Pemberton.
Well, the one guy that I can tell you for sure that decided the pit was Terry Labonte running 4th. Terry took on 4 tires, added half a round of wedge. It's a long way down here to turn 4. I'm checking on Steve Grissom, who also pitted up my end.
Grissom came out in 5th place. After this round of stops, Johnny Benson did not come in the first time around. Most of the other leaders did, and then Benson changed his mind and came to pit lane. Glenn?
Well, we're in Johnny Benson's pit. Let's find out from crew chief Steve Bird. Steve, you waited a lap to come in. What's the story?
Well, when NASCAR said it was 2 sets of tires, I figured it was 2 sets of tires. That's what me and Johnny figured the whole race, you know. All of a sudden, everybody dumped in and got another set, so I guess we missed out. But we got 4 new ones. We're in good shape. We ain't far behind. Sports is running great.
He's exactly right. There are only 8 cars on the lead lap, so he's not going to have to go very far back. Now, the cars of Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett, each came in for 4 tires. Martin took a round out. Dale Jarrett put a round in. Randy?
Again, update you once again, Steve Grissom, just 4 tires, no other adjustments, possible air adjustment. That's it. So Steve Grissom going for the win.
Well, Steve Bird was a little bit confused as we were up here about the tire rule tonight, and that's been straightened out, and we are back to green. Mark Martin is the race leader. Jeremy Savage, end of the lead lap, is the first car in line as they take the green, and Mark's going right after it. Sadler's number 1, drops a lap down. Mark Martin, the Winn-Dixie Ford, number 60. The Mack Tools, 432 for Dale Jarrett.
See that Red Dog Ford? He's going after to get that lap back.
Kenny Wallace needs to move to get back on the lead lap if he's going to win 3 in a row here.
Boy, he's hammered down right now. He's moving really hard, trying to get that lap back, as you guys said. Here's Randy George going down the back straightaway with our in-car camera. This gives us some great. That's what a race car driver sees at this race.
LaJoy 1 lap down in 11th place. Kenny Wallace has caught the leaders. This should be fun.
I don't think he'll waste a whole bunch of time. This is kind of do or die situation for him. This is either whether he wins the race or not. So he's going to really put the heat on.
He's going to get that lap back. It's going to have to be right here.
He's under Mark Martin. But here comes Mark right back after him on the high side.
Well, Mark Martin does not want to give Kenny Wallace his lap back. He knows this race car is so good here. And Mark gets better after 8 or 10 laps into the run, so he'll be tough later.
And here comes Jimmy Spencer after Johnny Benson. Remember, they pitted in 7th and 8th place right now. They are the last 2 cars on the lead lap, number 74 and 20. Benson and Spencer up front, side by side for a moment. Kenny Wallace has gotten back on the lead lap.
Whoa, Mark Martin almost got into the back straightaway wall there. Randy LaJoy got into him just a little bit as they started off the corner.
You know, I believe the problem with Mark's car, until it really gets going, he really has a loose condition. And once it gets 10 or 12 laps on his tires, then his old car really finally starts to come in.
And that's that momentum problem at turn 2 again. Now here they are coming out of turn 2. Where the track tightens up, Mark had to get out of the gas. And here came LaJoy. Look at it here.
Whoa, I take that back. He did not have contact. LaJoy was just dead behind him there, and the Mark got loose coming off the corner.
Johnny Benson just went past Terry Labonte. Here comes Spencer underneath in that blue Finaloo Ford, number 20. 46 laps to go. Danny Edwards down to the inside. And Spencer drives it in there deep.
So did Terry Labonte. He's running very well, but look at Spencer. He just, once he gets a little car length on you, buddy, he's coming up in front of you.
Don't count out the 99, the Luxier car. The Carsons, he's also a lead lap car.
Looks like Terry's having to give up the bottom part of the racetrack to me, Larry.
The handler's definitely gone away over
Johnny Benson has cleared the pack now to get past Steve Grissom. That's for position.
I tell you what, Jimmy Spencer was a delight to watch. Yeah. He was so far sideways in, I could see the tire come out from under the fender well there, turning back to the right. That's how far sideways he was. Never checked up and made the pass to David Green.
I've only ever seen 2 guys who can consistently drive that far sideways in a car this big on pavement. Jimmy Spencer, Dale Earnhardt.
There you see the Lipton T Chevrolet. I'm going to tell you, that shows you just how strong Johnny Benson is. He was the last car to pit, went all the way back to about 8th place. In less than 15 laps, he's come back to 3rd.
Here's the battle for 4th right behind him.
Let Spencer go in here now. No quarters given here. Both these guys are hard-nosed race car drivers, but even at that, you don't... Oh, wait a minute.
Surprise! Well, Steve Grissom had something for him. But there's still a lot of laps left. 42 to go.
David Green in the 44 car, the first car in the shot here, is very, very strong. It looks like he may be just as fast. I think what he's going to do now is let these guys go at it. He's very patient race car driver. He has an extremely fast race car.
That's Green, middle of the street, heading 44 in the Slim car. Working up Steve Grissom. This was the whole championship battle a year and 2 years ago. They've each won the title, Grissom and Green. 40 to go. Most lead changes ever in a Busch Grand National race in Richmond tonight, 16 of them.
You know, the surprising thing about that is how long a green run we've had. Normally, when you have that many lead changes, it's because they've had a lot of cautions.
Boy, Spencer was sideways again. I tell you, he's driving the wheels off his car. Look at this race right now.
Yeah, Kenny Wallace has worked really hard to try to stay on the lead lap. Dale Jarrett, though, keeps looking to the inside and looking, and he's going to put Kenny one down again.
Possibly he worked just a little too hard and abused the tires, and now he's paying the price for it.
Chad Little battling Terry Labonte, Elton Sawyer, and the 3 of Jeff Green. Labonte is on the lead lap. These 3 cars are 1 lap down. Now Mark Martin has passed Kenny Wallace, you see. It's the first 2 cars, nose to tail, Jarrett and Gordon. We'll be right back to Richmond after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
32 laps to go here at Richmond International Raceway, and yet another lead change. Mark Martin took the lead back from Dale Jarrett, and he did it the hard way.
He did that. He made the move on the outside. The preferred line on this racetrack is right around the bottom in the corner. He passes Jarrett on the outside as he starts into turn 1 here. Watch when he accelerates right here. You talk about strong. Now, he is strong.
Now, Buddy, when we went to commercial, you said, how many laps left? I said 37, and you go, just about time for Mark to do his thing. What did you mean?
Well, I think Jarrett has a little problem with down pressure on the 32 car there, and he's showing up after 10, 12, 14 laps, and Mark was very patient. He didn't race him. He let him go by. Now he picked him up, and away he goes.
Let's go back to 10th spot. Mike Wallace and Elton Sawyer battling for 10th place. These cars are a lap down. Place.
You know the thing, Mike, we got about 25 laps to go, and we got 9th through 20th place racing 1 lap down. So there's a lot of good racing back there from 9th to 20th.
Riding with Elton Sawyer.
See Mike Wallace getting out of the corner there just in front of Sawyer as they start down the back straightaway. I don't know what's Mike's problem, but you see he does not get in the corner extremely well. He seems to be as fast in the center part of the corner and down the straightaway, but he must be a little bit loose just getting into the corner.
That's interesting. Look at the dash on Elton's car. I don't know if those gauges are lit, but they're black face gauges with a red pointer. One of our other cars, I think it was Mark, showed us the Autometer Ultralights with the silver face, and the gauges are lit. I wonder which is easier to read. Maybe we'll see. Here's Phil Parsons and Terry Labonte. These are lead lap cars. Now, Randy Pemberton reported that Terry Labonte put scuffed tires on that last pit stop, not brand new sticker tires. Didn't care for him much.
I can see where I don't believe in these conditions where the scuffed tires would really be the way to go. I think they get out of sticker tires is the reason they went with scuffs, but these type of conditions where grip is so important, I think you got to have those sticker tires for the long haul especially.
Labonte right now sits in 7th place. With Parsons in 8th. They are on the lead lap. 8 cars on the lead lap with 25 to go.
Yeah, it's about time for Terry Labonte, if he has anything for these guys, to start turning it up just another notch here. You can see just in front of him there, David Green. So that'll be a race for position before too long.
That'll be the 6th place battle. 24 laps to go here at Richmond International. Mark Martin out front. Dale Jarrett in second. Johnny Benson in third. So it's Ford Chevrolet. Jimmy Spencer's Ford in fourth. Pete Grissom Chevy in fifth. David Green in sixth. Phil Parsons in seventh.
You know, you can see by this shot, as you was commenting a while ago, it does look like Mike just cannot get in the corner. Looks like his car is loose. The tail just wants to twitch, get in the corner, but seems to get it straightened out and coming off the corner pretty good.
And you saw the 8th place car, Phil Parsons, off the pace as they went by him there, going down into the corner. 22 laps to go. We asked a number of the drivers in the Busch Series what they would do next year. One of those we spoke with was Elton Sawyer.
I want to be in that Winston Cup garage. I've been over here long enough now, and I feel like I can race it at Daytonas and the Talladegas and places like that. So I need to get over there on that Winston Cup garage, and that's where my ultimate goal has been for years. And now we're getting the opportunity to get some experience with Junior's team and Mike Hill and all those guys. So we're working extremely hard to stay in that garage area.
Stevie Reeves, a little bit of flame there from the right rear wheel well on the Clabber Girl Chevrolet.
Mike, I believe that's the brake problem itself. You see him shooting the fire extinguisher right into the wheel there, so it looks like the brake itself, maybe the fluid is overheated there and caught the right rear on fire.
You know, it's kind of unusual to have a rear brake heat up before the front, so they must have had a mechanical problem there that might have caused that.
You notice lead change again. Dale Jarrett back in front as they move to lap Jason Keller and Jeff Fuller. They split the 2 lap cars. Jarrett now moves to the outside. Mark's got room. He's clear up high. Single file once again. Jarrett got underneath Mark Martin to pass him. And it looked to us up here in the booth as if Mark's car is just not coming off turn number 2, and you saw him just a little bit loose right there off 4.
There definitely something happened because he passed Jared just a few laps back and looked like he was going to run away with this thing, and all of a sudden he wasn't getting off turn 2 over there.
Let's check with Glenn.
Well, guys, I checked with both crew chiefs. I asked Bobby Leslie with Mark Martin if Mark had said anything was wrong with the car. He said Mark hadn't said a word. They just felt like that Dale Jarrett was laying back, saving his tires for the last 10 or 12 laps. So I go over and ask John Irvin, Dale Jarrett's crew chief, hey, John, was he just laying back, saving it? John turned around, looked at me, rolled his eyes up, and said, hey, man, he's your brother. I don't know any more than you do.
Here's Jeff Green, still battling the top 5-point man is Jeff Green. He is 3rd in the points, battling 2nd in the points, Chad Little. That's for 13th position. Remember that Buddy told you at the top of the show, Jeff Green in 3rd, Mike McLaughlin in 4th, and Jason Keller in 5th are very close in the point standings. Just 24 points between them all, and they touch. Jeff Green, of those 3, the only one having a pretty strong night here. He is 14th. McLaughlin is 17th. And Jason Keller is 22nd. Here are the leaders side by side, and Mark Martin runs out of room on Rick Wilson.
Wow, the 99 car of Parsons looked like it blew an engine just as we were talking there.
Parsons dropped the cylinder. He now goes a lap down. Back to this battle for 13th.
These 2 cars are not welded together. They're just racing extremely hard here. You couldn't put a piece of notebook paper in between the 2 cars in the corner. They made contact several times, but it's just good, hard racing. Nobody's really trying to get into each other.
This kind of racing's got to be a lot of fun. What's it feel like the crew chief see your car come down the front straightaway like that, an inch or so apart?
It can get pretty nervous, especially if you look at the side of the 23 car. Looks like somebody's beat it from wheel to wheel with a hammer.
Or a Chevrolet.
A black Chevrolet.
Yes. 8 laps to go.
These guys are racing for position, and Chad Little knows that every position keeps him from falling that far behind from Johnny Benson.
That's the battle for 13.
Hey, Chad saw it on that steering wheel. Here we have Terry Labonte moving under Jimmy Spencer, coming up out of turn 4 here.
This is a battle for 5th position.
6 laps to go. 5th place battle. Leaders are still single file. That heats up, we'll get back there. It's about to, because they're coming up on traffic. It was wide a moment ago. They're coming up on Jim Bound and Mike McLaughlin as you ride with Mark Martin in the Ford. Dale Jarrett in front, 5 laps to go. Let's check with Randy.
Well, brakes have always been a consideration here at Richmond, particularly in the Winston Cup race. It's 400 laps. Well, they're a problem right now for Mark Martin. He said, guys, they're going, and they're going in a hurry.
He's got to get 5 more laps out of him, Randy, underneath Jim Bound. And you saw there at turn 2 where Mark Martin gave up half a car length to Dale Jarrett, and he's got to try to get it back coming into the corner if he can't get it coming out.
That's the thing, with 4 laps to go. I mean, he can't give up anything. He's got to reach down and get all that he can.
Look inside Mark Martin's wheel. That shot, and you can see those brake rotors glowing bright red.
There you see 2-lap cars up in front of him. That's the thing Dale's got to do. He's got to make sure he works this lap traffic just right.
Coming up on Mike
McLaughlin. He better do something real quick. You see Mark Martin right up under him and make a little contact. He has almost, whoa.
Mark Martin muscles his way to the front. 3 laps to go.
It ain't over yet. You see Jarrett moving in again. I think they'll be side by side before you can say, there they come.
Mike McLaughlin moves over. Here come the leaders side by side again. 2 laps to go. Now Jarrett has the inside. Clean pass.
Clean pass. Boy, that's good racing. I love Busch Grand National Racing. These guys don't hold anything back.
Larry, I don't think it's over.
I don't believe it is either. I don't think it's going to be over till we see Carl Simmons wave that black and white flag.
It'll be next time. This is the last lap. They're in turn 1. Here's turn 2. That's been Mark Martin's trouble spot, and he's right on the bumper of Jarrett.
You can see Jarrett get a little bit sideways getting off the corner. Mark moves right in on his back bumper as they head to the back straightaway.
Jarrett has the bottom. Mark tries the big sweep off turn 4. Not enough time. Dale Jarrett picks up his 2nd victory of the season, and that battle for 13th erupted in turn 2. Jeff Green and Chad Little slugged it out for 13th place.
That's probably going to put Chad Little all the way back to about 20th, if I'm figuring right.
I don't know if they had already gotten the flag. Remember, they were a lap down. I'm not sure if Jeff Green and Chad Little had already gotten the flag when that happened. Let's show you what happened.
See Jeff Green on the bottom there, Chad Little on the outside. Looks like Jeff got a little sideways and got up into the 23 car, and around they go.
They had not finished the race. They were on their last lap.
And these guys had been racing hard for about the last 20 laps.
Randy?
Well, John Irvin currently being interviewed by the Motor Racing Network. We tended to try to get to him right now, but the crew was all over him, excited. They're now going to victory lane. We'll jump in and grab John Irvin. John, congratulations. A great effort for you guys tonight.
Thank you, Randy. Dale Jarrett and Mac 2 car did a great job at Hudson Technology. We needed this race because of what happened at Michigan. That's behind us. So we just showed these people that we can do the job.
Your driver say anything over the last lap? He lost the lead, had the lead, then he got it back.
Well, the car got a little loose, and he just fell back and said that he was going to cool the tires a little bit, that I got something for him at the end. So I was wondering there at the lights, but I think Mark used up his brakes and everything. But good deal for the Mac 2 boys.
Okay, go celebrate.
Thank you, man.
Well, both Jeff Green and Chad Little dropped 2 spots to be the last 2 cars 1 lap down. We'll go to victory lane when we come back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is being brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Well, the man in the moon is shining, and the bright Musco lights illuminate Richmond International Raceway, as you see from the steel aerial platform. Powerful, easy to use, and durable steel chainsaws, qualities you can depend on in steel territory. Let's go right down there to that black and white checkered square where Glenn Jarrett's in victory lane.
Well, thanks, Mike. You know, there's so many happy Jarretts down here. I can't begin to name them all. They're all happy except one here. Zachary, the youngest one, he's wanting his daddy. He's going to daddy right now. We're going to let Dale take him. And first of all, Dale, congratulations. What a great show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this Mac Tools Ford was really good. I'll tell you, we had to work, though. You know, I made a move down there I might not should have and got into a lap car and spun out there. And we decided to stay out then, but we got everything back and loosened the car up a little bit and almost got it too loose. But, you know, it was really good, and this engine that Robert and Doug Yates and John Callis built is just tremendous, and know everything's legal on this baby, so we got no problems here.
What he's talking about, of course, he has won the last 3 Busch Grand National races he's run in. He only got credit for 2 of them, was disqualified at Michigan for an illegal intake, but as he said, that one was legal. Take us through those last 3 or 4 laps with Mark Martin. What a show you two put on.
Yeah, I don't know if I can take you through them. It was all kind of running together, but, you know, Mark got a run on me there in the traffic and got by me, and you know, he hit me a little bit down there, but I'd hit him before when I'd got by him, and it was just good short track racing. And then I got a run on him when he got around a slow car up here. And, you know, it's just good, close, hard racing. And Mark's great to race with, and I appreciate racing me like he did because it's a lot of fun.
Well, now, from my point of view, from your wife, Kelly, from the rest of the Jarretts, when are you ever going to win these things just running away from everybody and there's nobody near you, man? You're giving us heart attacks.
Yeah, we did that and it disqualified us, so we thought we better keep it a little bit closer. And, you know, I got to thank Hudson Technologies that came on back in Michigan, really, and they thought we had a win there, and we didn't, but we got one here tonight. So thanks for your support, guys. We appreciate it.
Okay, again, congratulations to Dale Jarrett, to his wife Kelly, son Zachary, daughters Natalie and Carson, all in victory lane. Car owner Horace Eisenhower, crew chief John Irvin. We're going to let them party. Randy?
Well, Mark Martin just heading into the trailer to change. Mark gave it a heck of an effort. A great last few laps for the fans, but didn't turn out for you. Nice run just the same.
Well, we gave it all we had. Dale's car was faster than mine off of 4, and our car was pretty good through 1 and 2, and it was a great show. I think I kind of turned it loose a little too soon. You know, it took the lead with 25 to go. I maybe should have waited till about 10 to go, and then maybe I'd have had the right combination, but he ran me back down and passed me, and then we just we had a heck of a race. I couldn't tell you a whole lot about it. We were just both trying to win real hard and racing all over the place. The cars were sliding all over the track.
Came over the radio talking about your brakes just a little bit. Were they going? How bad were they?
Well, they were fine. We got racing pretty hard there at the end, and they weren't real healthy, but you know, the Winn-Dixie team did a great job and had a great car and great pit stops, and it was a good run for us. He just beat us.
One other question, tomorrow night, the 400 laps here. I know your Valvoline Ford is running well. What about it? Can you snag a win?
Well, I sure would like to. We'll give it our best. Our car's really working good, and we'll see how it turns out.
Congratulations on a good run tonight.
Thank you.
Mark Martin, second place tonight. We got a lot more to show you. Some highlights, including the Super Truck by Craftsman Series event here last night. Was every bit as strong a finish as the one we just had. We'll show you just a highlight of that and talk to some more of the drivers involved in tonight's Autolite Platinum 250 when we come back live with you on TNN at Richmond. TNN Highway Transportation provided by Cedar Ridge RV Center, Branchville, New Jersey, featuring Winnebago. Call 1-800-988-4884 to see why Cedar Ridge is our choice of champions. Well, it was a full moon Friday night here at Richmond, but unlike most full moon nighttime short tracks, very little action and destruction until that last lap, and Jeff Green and Chad Little got together. Let's find out what happened. Let's go to the garage.
Well, you're right, Mike. Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin weren't the only ones that were driving their hearts out right there at the end of the race. Chad Little involved in a last lap skirmish with Jeff Green. Chad, what happened there?
Just bump getting into turn 1, I guess. You know, you guys got the film. Let's take a look at it.
All right, you had one of those days. We're going to take a look at it right now. You had one of those days that just didn't seem like things were going to go your way. You drove your heart out, though.
Well, the car was all right. You know, we probably missed it a little bit. Felt like the motor was a little weak too today, but I mean, it wasn't an altogether bad day. It's just, I guess, one of those things, you know. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Well, no, you're saying the things that you know, that I understand coming from you. I know you're disappointed, but this thing's not over. I mean, you know, stranger things have happened, particularly in this sport. And I know your guys. I see the T-shirts you have on. We may be the underdog, but but it ain't over. And the crash at the last lap there only cost you 2 positions. But I know you guys are going next week to Dover Run just as hard as you can. You haven't given up yet.
No, I mean, we still got 4 races left, and let's do the best we can. You know, what goes around comes around.
He says it all right there, Chad Little. Gracious enough to talk to us after a hard-fought battle. He'll be back strong next week. Randy?
Well, a lot of guys that are running for leads and championships over the course of the years, people would say, oh, they're stroking, they're protecting their lead, they're not running at the front. Not the case with this man, Johnny Benson. Got beat by 2 strong cars, 2 great drivers tonight, but you had a heck of a run.
I tell you what, them guys are, man, they're fast. And we had a good car, you know. Base Motorsports team's just doing an awesome job, and we can't ask for anything better. I mean, except for 2 more spots, I guess. But I tell you what, them guys were fast. You know, my hat's off to them guys, but this crew's doing a great job.
50 points you added to your lead tonight. We talked just a moment ago. I said, what'd that get you? He said, it doesn't matter. But 50 points, about 206. That's pretty stout with 4 races left.
I'll tell you what, this team, you know, they know that I'm going next year over to the Winston Cup side, but they want to win this deal, and they're, you know, they're happy, but yet not, you know. And I wish could have, you know, maybe gone together, but you know, I think some opportunities are good for me where we're going to do, but this team's a great team. They're showing they got a stout race car, good crew. Lipton Team Monte Carlo, man, ran great tonight. Just a little short is all.
Congratulations on a good effort. Where are you going next year?
Side.
Oh, darn, I thought we'd get it there. Mike?
Well, even with the breakup, we weren't going to get it. There are at least 2 major Winston Cup teams vying for Johnny Benson's services in 1996. So Benson now leads Chad Little by 206. Jeff Green is in 3rd. He closed some ground tonight. Mike McLaughlin 4th, Jason Keller 5th. No changes there, except that those positions have spread out just a little bit. Green to McLaughlin was 7 points. It's now 13, for example. Larry Pearson hangs on to 6th. Tim Fita was 7th. Elton Sawyer moves up to 8th, knocking Bobby Dotter out of the top 10. Phil Parsons moves from 10th to 9th. And rookie Jeff Fuller climbs from 11th up to 10th in the standings. 4 races to go. Next week, we're right back here on TNN next Saturday from Dover, Delaware. A lot more to show you and tell you, including Super Truck highlights here on TNN. Stay with us.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN is brought to you by Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs. Guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
And for information on Featherlight trailers, call 1-800-800-1230. Featherlight, official trailer of NASCAR. Well, let's get the other side of that last lap collision from Glenn Jarrett.
Well, you can see Jeff Green looking down there. We've got a little handheld television here, in fact, and we're going to take a look at that replay. Jeff, take us through what you thought happened. We got Chad's side of it. Tell us your version of it.
Well, Glenn, I was real loose all night. We kept working on getting it tighter and tighter, and the last lap come down, and I done got up Chad a couple times. We run, I mean, side by side for 10 or 15 laps there, and I just got in a little bit too hot and lost it and got up into him, and I hate it. And they think I took him out, but that's the last thing I do to him. We're racing for points. 4 races to go, or 5 races to go now, and every point counts for me. So I just want to get every position we can get. And I wouldn't take anybody out to better myself in the points by no means, but that was just a position. I was just trying to get everything we could get.
Well, it looked like as you were going in the corner there, I could see on the replay there, it looked like the back end of the car had already started around.
Yeah, it's kind of like whoever let off first would win, and I was trying to just out deep him there, and I just got in too deep, and I hate it for him. Those guys are mad at me over there, but we'll just go on to next week and hope they'll get over it, and we'll try to get the Goodwrench car in victory lane next week.
Well, you're involved in a real tight battle for 3rd place in the points yourself, so you can't give up anything.
I can't. 34 car and the 57 car, I don't know where they finished. Don't even know where I finished, really, but it was really a decent night for us till that happened, and I didn't have a scratch on the car till then. Chad thinks I took him out, but I wouldn't do that. I could have done it 100 laps before that if I wanted to do that, but I sure wouldn't wait till the last lap, dude. I just hate it for him because he's in such a tight battle with Johnny, but we'll just go on. Hopefully not too bad feelings.
Well, I'm sure that feelings will calm down somewhat when we get to Dover next week. You know, in the heat of competition, folks, emotions, tempers will flare a little bit. You lost 2 positions at the end there, Jeff. You wound up in 15th, and I know you guys, you're one of the cleanest racers out there, and things will die down. We'll see you next week at Dover.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope you go over and tell them guys that.
Well, I tried.
And to answer Jeff's question, he finished 2 positions ahead of 4th place point man Mike McLaughlin, and he was, let's see, 7 spots ahead of Jason Keller, who is 5th in the points. And that's the kind of way you hope these things turn out.
Oh, yeah. You know, these guys are racing hard. Jeff Green's worried about how Chad Little feels right now, but if the tables were turned, Chad Little would be saying the same thing. Nobody did anything intentional. It just happens on a racetrack that's this tight when you're going through the corners every once in a while. Like he said, he was trying to out-deep him. He didn't make it.
And here the real race begins, the one out of the parking lot. So these folks can go home and get some sleep and come back tomorrow for the Winston Cup race. Well, if they were here last night, they saw a great show. The Super Truck Series by Craftsman was here for 150 laps. On the pole, Terry Labonte, Joe Ruttman on the outside. 3 wide, that's Ron Hornaday coming up from 4th starting spot. 2 big incidents took out 2 of the big point men in this race. As you see Labonte leading the first laps. Scott Lagacy, 24, got turned around. Here comes Walker Evans and Butch Miller in the 98, the Ray Bestis truck. Miller was the 4th place point man. Racing for the lead or for 2nd place, Jeff Bodine gets in at number 16. That's Ron Hornaday Jr., the 3rd place point man, and Hornaday ended up in the fence. Came down to a typical NASCAR finish. The 7 is Bodine. The 5 is Labonte. This the last lap. How close did it get? Right there. That was the checkered flag. Big win for Terry Labonte. Remember in the opener at Phoenix, Mike Skinner beat him by just that same amount. So Labonte gets a little bit of revenge on that group. And it was a great show. Labonte and Jeff Bodine, the front 2. Let's go down to pit road once again.
Well, a somewhat somber-looking David Green, but not a bad night. I mean, it wasn't one of your best, but considering the way some things have gone this year, it wasn't too bad a night.
For this year, I think it's one of the best, maybe. But, you know, Slim Jim car ran good. And there at the first, I really liked the green flag run. Kind of caught up on Mark a little bit right there. And we never adjusted the car, but maybe the track conditions got away from us a little bit and just got so loose there at the end I couldn't hang on. And I know it was a tough night, but, you know, we've had so many problems DNFs. It's good to finish one. And I think when we don't finish, I get a little rusty. The team gets a little rusty, but we all got a smile on our face and go on. But my hat's off to these guys. They work hard every week, even though it's not a championship type year.
Well, what is it, David, at Richmond, we always see this thing coming down to fresh tires versus worn tires, guys changing tires under caution, guys waiting, catching them under green. What is it about this racetrack? You got a lot of experience here, run a lot of laps here, but every time we come here, that's what it boils down to.
Well, I think more than anything, the track's still in excellent shape, but it's just getting wore down a little bit, you know, and it's losing its grip. But I think the biggest thing is what I thought tonight was the deal practicing here today is 80, 90 degrees, you know, and then we race at 8 or 9 o'clock, whatever it is. Track conditions change a lot, so you know, I think it just people overcompensate. But again, the asphalt, it don't last forever, and those Goodyear tires kind of eat it up a little bit.
I want to ask one quick question before we go away. Diane Hollingsworth, his fiance, come here, please. Now, he told us before the race he shaved the mustache off for good luck. How do you like it?
Oh, I like it, and I had nothing to do with it. That was all his own idea.
Folks don't believe that. A woman has spoken.
Glenn, where's your razor? David Green gets his 5th top 10 finish this year. Sunday, September 10th, TNN Motorsports will be live from Kokona, Wisconsin. The Tournament of Speed 300. That's the ASA race, beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern, exclusively here on TNN Motorsports. That is Sunday. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, TNN Fast Tracks, a 30-minute special taking you to Dover Downs in the area, leading up to our live exclusive coverage next weekend. Saturday, September 16th at 1 o'clock, the MBNA 200 Busch Grand National Race. And a week from Sunday, that'll be September 17th, the MBNA 500 presented by Gladiator Vans Winston Cup Race. It all comes your way here on TNN Motorsports. We'll be right back to Richmond International Raceway after this. You want all the news about auto racing from the network that's with you before and after the race and all weekend long? TNN Race Day, hosted by Rick Benjamin, live Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and again, nighttime edition, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on TNN Motorsports. Here's our TNN Innovation in Motion, brought to you by Peerless Faucets. Get more out of your faucet than just water. Randy?
Thanks, Mike. Well, folks, if you watch professional sports and collegiate sports a lot, you know that athletes are continuously playing hurt. Well, this is the cast that's on the foot of Doug Hebron. His ankle several weeks ago at Michigan. Matter of fact, he has a couple of pins in that ankle. No, he didn't drive this evening in that cast. He drove with this one. Doug, tell us about that cast and what it enables you to do.
Well, Dr. there out of Charlotte, he gave me this cast, and it makes me so I don't twist my ankle. I get a bit of motion up and down, but I've been learning to drive one-footed, foot. He gave me this opportunity. Without them, I wouldn't be able to, without this cast, I wouldn't be able to drive this Cincinnati Millicron Ford GTS Mike Barnard Auto Group car. And I thank him, and, it lets you know it's there, and it hurts pretty good right now after a long night, but heck, at least we're driving and not sitting on the sideline.
That's right. Also, it gives you an opportunity to get your sponsors in after a race, even when you've had a bad night. Doug finished 32nd tonight. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Hebron ran second at Nazareth and almost won Dover when his engine blew with a few laps remaining. We'll be right back to Richmond after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Autolite Platinum 250 on TNN has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the stars.
At the top of tonight's show, Glenn Jarrett talked to our pole sitter. Let's pick up on how Randy LaJoie ran tonight. Glenn?
If the folks were paying attention, I remember Randy said he hoped he talked to us at the end of the show. We're holding up our end of the bargain, but I don't think this is where you meant to. Ninth place, what happened, Randy?
Well, we just set the car for short runs. Obviously, we were on the pole, and we didn't get a chance this morning. Practice got cut short to go out and make a long run. We wanted to, we didn't do it. It didn't hurt us. We're just really loose at the beginning. We were good for 25 laps, but then we got real loose. Hey, top 10 with the Duraloop team. That just some experience. That's all we need. The guys working with me and me working with the guys. We did the best we could, and we're in one piece. Fabricator's not mad at me. Car's in one piece, and we'll get ready for Dover. And when we go to Dover, we're going to do a long run, and we're going to lay it on them up at Dover.
Okay, Randy LaJoie realizes the mistakes made tonight, but all in all, not a bad night. He'll be strong at Dover. He loves those places where you have to be aggressive. Mike?
Thanks, Glenn. Here's a look at the finish. Martin, of course, finishing right behind Dale Jarrett, Benson, Grissom. How about Terry Labonte taking those worn tires to 5th place?
Looks like they finally paid off there in the end.
Jimmy Spencer, good run for 6th. David Green, Kenny Wallace with that penalty. There's LaJoie, 9th, and Elton Sawyer. Wallace, Buckshot Jones, Tracy Leslie. Down through 15th, those cars were 1 lap down. Down through 16th, Chad Little. Then Mike McLaughlin, one of the top 5 point guys. Jason Keller, disappointing 22nd tonight. Larry Pearson, couple laps off the pace. Craig Sachs back in 30th. And here's the rest of tonight's finish. Larry McReynolds, thanks for coming up and visiting with us. Glad to have you.
I enjoyed being up here. Seen some awesome racing up here tonight.
Buddy, a lot of lead changes tonight. Great show.
Great show here. See you all in Dover next weekend at the White Lightning track.
Join us this Sunday, September 10th, Kokona, Wisconsin, Tournament of Speed 300 ASA race. And following this broadcast immediately, Music City Tonight. For Glenn Jarrett, Randy Pemberton, Larry McReynolds, and Buddy Baker, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Dale Jarrett on his victory here at Richmond International Raceway. We'll speak to you next weekend from Dover Downs. Good night, everybody.